Happy Friday, everybody. This is Mr. Cadenhead. I want to talk to you a little bit today about some structures that we have in place to support students here at Folsom High School to encourage their voice and let all of you guys know that your opinion and experience is important to all of us. So I want to talk about four structures that help support us with that and encourage students to get involved in our culture. So the first one here that we have in place is called Challenge Success, and we kind of lump that in with what we call PBIS, or Positive Behavior Intervention and Supports. And we've had that in place for some time, but we kind of lump that in with our Stanford Challenge Success program that we've been involved in for a number of years. And really, Challenge Success for us focuses on academic culture. I would kind of boil it down to that. Which really also encompasses academic stress, general academic expectations, things like homework load, the concept that we talk about all the time of balance, and sort of the definition of success that you have for yourself and your parents have for you, we have for our community in general. But it's everything and anything, whether that's calendars, and how that impacts students, the importance of sleep, all those different things that we talk about kind of all fall under this PBIS Stanford Challenge Success. We have students involved in this for us. We've done fish bowls, which is kind of where we sit around and we have a discussion about the key issues that relate to challenge success and our academic culture and how it's affecting our students. And we listen and we take notes, and we visited Stanford with our students in the past for a few years now and taken students down there with us. We had students recently share a project that they did with students from around the United States to discuss their definition of success and what they wish their teachers and parents knew. And I'll be sharing some of that with you as well. So that's a lot of work that we do around those two issues. We also have Student Senate, and Student Senate for us is really kind of an overview of general school culture and operations. And the way that we structure that is by taking a PAWS representative from every single PAWS class or every single third period class on our campus. And really that's run by student government. And Mr. Crannell and I are usually involved in that. Mr. Crannell, an assistant principal, and myself to kind of answer questions, just any general question that can be covered in that format. It is kind of a general student, concern, forum. And often we cover things like dress code, parking, food services, restroom, functions, use, upkeep, general school policy, issues of school safety. Last year when COVID started, we had a lot of discussions about, soap in the restrooms. And I mean, it's a very functional group, but we can also get into other things as well. And so the way that works is you'll select a student again from your third period PAWS class, and that student will be your representative for that class. And you will bring concerns to that student prior to our meeting. The student comes to our meeting and we will address those concerns that are brought to us. And then they go back to you guys with solutions or how we're moving forward on some of those things. And we try to give you feedback on a regular basis on our progress on those items and let you know what we've been able to work on for you guys. And then this year, this is new to us, but it's going to be, I think, really important to us this year, is Culture and Diversity Student Council. And that is really elected in much the same way as our student council. That is going to be a student from every single one of our third period PAWS classes that will initially be able to volunteer, and then if there are multiple volunteers, we'll probably have the class select their representative. And the question that we sort of look at through the Culture and Diversity Student Council is, how well does our culture at Folsom High School support all members of our diverse community at Folsom? One of the amazing parts of our school, as I've mentioned before, is the incredible diversity at Folsom High School. We're going to talk a little bit about that diversity to start off with this council and really define it for them, and so they can bring that back to you. I think sometimes we take it for granted, and we work with a diverse group of people, and we go to class with a diverse group of people, and we take that for granted. We don't realize, but we're going to talk a little bit about how diverse we are as a community, why that's important, and why we value that at Folsom High School. What I'm also going to add to that likely is about 10 or so at-large student volunteers that our administration will select. So if a student isn't included through their third period class, or we have a couple, truly passionate individuals who want to get involved in this group from their third period class, then we can kind of reach out to more than just one representative per class and choose around 10 or so additional students. And that would give us about 95 students in this group. Um, Again, we really want to look at culture through the lens of all of our student groups, which would include culture, race, religion, socioeconomic status, language that folks speak, all kinds of different things, and how, again, does our culture at Folsom High School make sure that everybody who comes here can be themselves and feel supported. And we're not going to be perfect at that right away, but we certainly want to hear and have a structure for feedback from you guys about why that's important. And I'll tell you a little quick story about why we would like to start something like this. A student shared with me a couple years ago who graduated. She was a graduating senior. Some of the frustrations that she had experienced along the way. She happened to be a black student who had had a couple incidents that really were frustrating for her, as they should have been, and a little bit demoralizing along the way. And she shared that with me on her way out as a senior. And I'd been around her for 4 years, and she didn't feel comfortable sharing that information with another adult on this campus. In 4 years, she did not feel comfortable sharing it in any format, which is really, really unfortunate. And I realized, I think at that time, that it's critical that we create a structure like the Culture and Diversity Student Council, where we reiterate that it is a high, high priority, if not our top priority here at Folsom High School, to ensure that every single student is supported and feels comfortable being at Folsom High School. That doesn't ensure that things won't happen, that we'll compromise that at times, but we also need to talk about how we address those things when they do happen, because they're frustrating for all of us, and sometimes it feels like we don't make progress when those things happen. And so we need to talk about that as a community. So those will be monthly meetings, much like our student senate meetings. And we're going to include students, certainly administrators, teachers who wish to be part of that as well. At some point, we'll try to include a parent community in that. And I know I've talked to some community members who may or may not have students at the school who would also like to be involved in that, and that would be wonderful as well. And so we'll be reaching out to you guys about that and giving you more details in the coming months. Just in general, I want you guys to know that we value your input, and we're always available to you. And like I said, like the young lady who shared with me, who unfortunately didn't feel comfortable reaching out to us, I'd like you to feel comfortable reaching out to us at any time. We will talk at some later point a little bit about the importance of confidentiality, which also is a really important concept to us as administrators here, and I'll touch on it now. And that is, when you come to us with an issue that you want to have remain confidential, unless your health and safety is at risk or somebody else's health and safety is at risk, it's our goal. Well, we will absolutely, not just our goal, we will absolutely keep it confidential. And if we ever have to breach confidentiality based upon something, we will do everything that we can to tell you ahead of time. But 99% of the time or more, when students come to us with concerns, we keep those things confidential. That includes, just like it would for anybody, student records, student grades, student mental health issues, safety issues, except for the people it absolutely involves. And it includes also matters of discipline. And so we'll talk more about that at another time, but that can be frustrating for students as well, because we don't ever share the outcome of student discipline with others. But please know that when you contact us by email or you give us a phone call, you'd like to meet with us, that those issues for us remain confidential. They remain here. Now, if you talk to an assistant principal, 99% of the time they're going to share it with me, but that would be about it, because I need to know when those things are going on. We might ask your permission to share it with a counselor, or share it with a teacher if it's relevant, or share it with a coach if it's relevant, or share it with your parent if it's relevant. But unless we absolutely have to share it because of your safety, we will ask your permission ahead of time. So please always feel comfortable reaching out to us if anything is going on. I want to give you guys also a huge compliment. You guys are wonderful at reaching out to us when somebody else is not doing well and looking out for your peers. We need you, especially at this time of distance learning. Please keep that up. If you hear something, you see something, somebody posts something, somebody texts you something, and they're at all at risk of depression, or they discuss self-harm in any way, you've got to reach out to us and let us know. Again, confidentiality is really important to us, but folks, and there may be a chance that they know that you reached out to us, but the risk is worth it, please. If somebody is thinking about self-harm, the alternative is not acceptable to not saying something. So make sure you always say something, notify us. We have a lot of experience, working through those issues with families, with students, but let us know. Email, there's also, remember, on our website, there is potentially an anonymous report in case of bullying or harassment or self-harm risks, and those immediately get sent to all the administrators, and you have the option of sharing your name or not. So that's all kind of centered around Student Voice, and it's important for us to connect with all of you guys. I want to, as I put the picture here of our amazing staff and teaching staff, it omits many of our instructional aides and our amazing classified staff and our campus monitors to some extent. This happens to be our teaching staff, but our coaches as well and our off-campus coaches, these are folks who want to hear from you, and they're trained and ready to make sure that they either keep things confidential or help you resolve an issue. So reach out to the most convenient person, and certainly you're always welcome to reach out to me, as many of you do, and I appreciate that. Okay, guys? But you'll be hearing more about some of these structures, Student Senate, Culture and Diversity Student Council, very, very soon through your pause class. All right, it is Friday, and as always, some of you are new, so you haven't heard from this or from me before regarding this, but on Friday, it's kind of my ritual of reminding you guys, read a good book without pictures, have a passion for something positive, tell your family you love them as always, and our key word around here is always balance, guys. Have a great weekend.